Tell me again, it doesn't sound better. We made these VSTs come to life, actually. Hello everybody, welcome back to my studio, Warsaw, Poland, to my humble YouTube channel. I'm Paul. Good to see you again. Guys, recently it's been a lot about analog synthesizers, fat, analog gear, fat, sweet, you name it. But what if you're just a guy or a lady having VSTs at hand and some virtual synthesizers, virtual instruments, and yeah, they do sound kind of dead, kind of flat, and you know it, and you want to do something about it. You want to enhance them and inject real life into them. You don't have to actually worry, because there are ways to fix that, and I'm gonna show you 3 ways that I enhance my digital, purely digital, mainly VST signals to make them alive and make them analog-like. Let's go. Of course, as always, if you think this channel is a cool place, if you like my studio and my videos, consider subscribing somewhere here down in the corner, get notified, like this vid, and comment on it down below so that I know what you think about my ways of enhancing digital signals. Let's go now. Also, if you like the plugins presented and would like both to support me, you're gonna find some affiliate links down below. Thanks. So, imagine this studio situation that you have finished your track, you have a lot of virtual instruments, a bunch of synthesizers, and before you start mixing, you actually know that this track is somehow dead, and it's not the matter that mixing can fix it. The instruments somehow feel dead. I have it, for example, with Pigments by Arturia, which is a great synthesizer, but in many cases I find its tone very hollow, empty, not really convincing and attractive. And this is where enhancement kicks in. I call it enhancement. And these are some of my very personal techniques: blending, saturation, EQing, and creative use of noise, so that you can inject your synthesizer's instruments with something extra. And I don't consider it a part of mixing. I consider this an integral part of the instrument or synthesizer signal. And then the mixing is coming, actually. And I'm going to present to you 3 techniques. One is going to be kind of advanced hardware technique, then a simplified hardware technique, but also there must be kind of a plugin technique as well. And it's going to be very simple, very efficient, and very cheap as well. And as for the material we're going to work on today is this. I created a very simple loop containing drums taken from Loop Cloud and a Pigments-based bass, and it sounds like this. It's just so, but I don't mean it's just boring, short 4 bars loop, but what I mean is this. I mean, this is cool, but there's no real life in it, and this. Same story. It's theoretically, it's supposed to be fat and very strong in tone, but actually it's not. And this is where our techniques kick in. And let's go to the technique number 1, which is using modular enhancement system. I know, it's not the cheapest, it's not the easiest to assemble, it's not the easiest to use, but it's most powerful and it sounds absolutely nuts. Remember also that if you don't want to spend like all the money of the world on building it, you still can consider a modular system in a virtual form, coming, for example, from Softtube modular or Sherry audio voltage modular. You're gonna also get great, I mean digital, but still great results. I do believe that having this analog is beyond any competition, and I'm going to show you exactly why this system is a must for me. I mean, I choose just one, maximum two sources per song per track to throw it into because it's so characterful. It gives so much punch and presence and wildness that it's easy, I believe, to overdo. So what you see here is mainly fixed. I don't touch it. It's very finely tuned manually. Many experiments have been done here. And still it's very sensitive to temperature. It's changing its tone over time because the components wear out somehow, I suppose. It's not perfect in stereo. Channels differ a bit, which is also cool. And this is exactly how it goes. I'm going to show you the routing and what I do with it. So here's the input from my RME card. I sent a signal from my DAW, from my virtual instruments. It comes from my RME interface and enters here, and then I route my signal, my dry DAW signal into this stereo module, which is called Dual Drive. It's made by Erica Synths, and it's got 3 drive modes. I use mode 1 with moderate, very moderate gain settings, and drive settings, as you can see, are also very moderate. But it's enough to make this thing sound like a beast. What is really interesting that I've got control voltages for both channels, for both drive and gain. And as you can see, there are 2 additional patch cables coming from pink noise sources. So whenever the signal, the analog signal is clipping, is being driven, additional analog noise is starting to modulate the drive amount more and less just with a pink noise, which gives it amazing character and amazing movement you're going to hear in a minute. I mean, this really is my secret sauce. It is my secret weapon to animate the drive of this with a noise. You're going to hear it in a minute, as I say. And then I go out from this module to a pair of identical wasp filters that you have here. Frequency is maximum open. I will use also additional control voltages from my triplet and Varna so that I can easily control the cutoff frequency. I can also use MIDI triggering and analog gating to make this filters envelope sweeps, envelope movement of some kind, but I'm not going to use it right now. It's just fully open. I set, as I said, it's fully open. I add a bit of resonance on both so that it works like a high shelving EQ of some sort, very delicate one. And then I go out to the main output from the filter and back to my RME card and back to my DAW Nuendo system. And as I said, it's powerful. It sounds crazy. It's having tons of character. And let's listen what it does now. I forgot. I've got also a second pair of filters called Font, which also sounds great, but it's way cleaner and more predictable in character than Wasp. So I tend to use Wasp more. Yeah, let's go and listen now. Yes, all right, my very dear friends. Let's take this modular signal, let's take this dry group, and we can compare. Remember, these are very strictly gain matched. As you can see, I already recorded and processed the thing through my modular, so you're going to hear the results. You're not going to hear any live recording. It's been done before. And again, this is how the dry stuff sounds. Let's start with drums. Yes, it is gain matched. I know, I mean loudness matched with LUFS measurement. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. Though I would not use this probably on drums. These drums became kind of too dirty, and can you hear this trace of this noise I was telling you about. Because the drive is obvious, the drive is the drive, but this noise kicking in when the drive, the clipping is kicking in, this is something. And here just the bass here. Exactly, that's it. Tell me it doesn't sound good and truly analog, because what I actually did here is that I took Pigments out of my PC and I made it a hybrid digital analog synthesizer. I actually made Pigments an analog machine using this. And I made it very analog, and some of you might say it's too analog, but I love it. But as I said, it's limited just to one source per song per track, because there's so much going on, so much movement and organic character into it that it's easy really to overdo it. So a bass, a lead, and that's enough. And these are the results, and maybe let's compare the whole loop again. Tell me it doesn't sound good. Just tell me. Because I think now it's mix ready. I don't, as I told you, I don't consider this mixing. I consider it an integral part of my instrument, of my source signal, so to say. Guys, that's it. But as I said, this is just twice per track maximum. But I'm looking to my right again. There is something else that I'm using more on a regular basis, and it's still hardware. This is it, my friend. Drawmer, 1976 and 1974, 2 units. The first one is a 3-band saturating unit, and the second one is a 4-band EQ. And I get the signal into the 1976, I pass it in series to 1974, and I get back to my RME card and draw in series. These two work as an integral one element of my chain. And I'm gonna quickly show you how it's set up, what it does. So first, low band, saturation at 5, stereo image at 0, because there is an additional mid-side per band, analog mid-side matrix, I suppose. Also, there's something called level per band that can serve as a kind of an EQ. I don't use it at all. Then I've got my crossover at 100 Hertz. And then I go with slightly more saturation at 7 with stereo 0 and also at 0. Then my crossover is at 4K, and then I go with saturation at 8, stereo imaging at 2, and also level at 0. And then I go to my output. As you can see, my input is lower, my output is higher, because it's very easy to drive this unit on the input. So I do it like this, and then lower row of my set is that input is 0 here, and I don't go for any low cut and high cut, as you can see. I just go for my 4 bands that you can cut and boost both, and yeah, it reminds you a bit of Massive Passive, for example, right? Yes, it is. Sometimes they say it's Massive Passive for poor, but I do believe it's a value on its own, no matter the price. So at 50 Hertz, I boost around 4 decibels, then at 330 very widely I boost just 1 dB, then at 1.6 I boost again 1 dB, and at 7K again I boost just 1 dB. I sometimes tweak just this and this to achieve best results, and the rest stays the same. And I use it on more than one source in every of my track because it simply allows me to do so. It's not that impactful, it's not that characterful as my modular system, so I can simply sonically somehow afford it. But maybe let's end the talk and let's hear how it sounds. Yeah, so that's all this practical, half theoretical lecture of some kind. Let's leave the unit and same story. I processed both drums and bass through this Drawmer and listen now to what's happening to it. Let's start with drums. Yes, I know, again, hard to believe. This is seriously loudness matched. It's so saturated, it's so rich right now, this signal, that it seems so much more present and perceived as louder, but the loudness, LUFS loudness, is the same for both sources. I'm serious. And I probably love this unit most because of its vintage character. It's 76, 74 for a reason. It's supposed to be kind of 70s, I don't know, vintage stuff, and it does round the transients up a bit. It creates like the slightest slower attack. It softens the transients just the tiniest bit, and it warms everything up in a very pleasant, in a very, very musical way. I wouldn't leave the drums like this. Probably in the mixing stage, I would still use some transient shaper to bring some attack back, but the general tone of these drums, I absolutely love it. And let's hear what happens to the bass. Yes, there is something going on at 30 hertz, literally 30 hertz. It's mad. I'm gonna probably cut it when mixing, but it's shattering and it's generally more subtle than this module, that's for sure. That's why I can use it more when creating my music. And let's maybe hear again the whole loop. Yes, that's it, my friends. And now will come method number 3. And yes, this is so simple. It's a relatively new method for me because it's based on Machine Head plugin by SPL, released by Plugin Alliance recently. And guys, same story, I already processed both sources and rendered. This is the plugin, and it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, digital emulations of analog tape saturation. And this is the original algorithm taken from the hardware unit by SPL. Not too many were produced, and moreover, I'm gonna show you something, how much reverb this unit costs second-hand. My friends, this is literally more than $15,000 discounted from, wow, and this is, well, still $7,000, let's say, but still, I mean, can you imagine how sought after this algorithm and this hardware unit was? And it is a digital algorithm. And now you got it for a fraction of a price as a plugin. You can use original version, which emulates ADDA, I believe, or Ultimate, which has got more modern tone. I use the original. My settings for this are that output gains was set to -8, drive was set to 9, I believe, and HF adjust was set to 1.5 exactly for both my drums and my bass. And this is what happened against the original. And the whole loop is. It's very subtle. It's the most subtle method of all of these that I presented to you, but it's also easy to retweak. I mean, I can take the plugin and I can create my own preset when I do the drive more like 10 maybe, to play more with it, but it's very, very pleasant. It's also very, very vintage. And it's somehow maybe close to my Drawmer, I don't know. But you know what, maybe exactly that's the time that we compare all the three methods generated, starting maybe from Modular, going to Drawmer and Machine Head plugin, so that we can compare whether anything really improved and how they sound against each other. Let's go! Tell me again, it doesn't sound better. Tell me, because I do believe that we improved a lot even before we started mixing anything. Because we made these loops and VSTs come to life, actually. I know it's not interesting by itself, it's very simple, just bass and drums, and I wanted to keep it simple. But we can easily just exclude this dry signal, and I think that Modular is my favorite one. Drawmer would be my second probably. Let's listen again. So Modular is full of character and sounds amazing. It's my top choice, but it's just from one source. The rest would go with Drawmer, but if I'm in a hurry of any kind, or I want to make it more mild, probably then I would go for Machine Head. They are somehow similar in their vintage tone, I would say. They are not very different from each other. But I still think that my Drawmer creates something, some kind of mojo that I absolutely adore. So yes, Machine Head still will be my third choice, but don't get me wrong, it is absolutely amazing. Also remember that what I showed you with this modular, crazy modular filter, you may try to recreate it using virtual modular, soft tube, a VCV rack, a voltage modular, or any other modular system out there. Maybe we're gonna even make a video about it. By that time, let's sum the things up. That's it, guys. three ways. One of them is an advanced one. I would call it. The second one is just this middle effort one, but kind of an expensive one. And the third one is the easiest one, also the cheapest one, but still it's a very, very good one, don't you think? And you can choose from them. And the best for me and for my studio and for my music is that I can combine these three. That feels great. That's it for today. Hope you liked it. Hope to hear from you down below in the comment section. And I hope to hear from you very, very soon. Take care and bye.